So I'm still doing this. Somehow. So as some of you may know, I asked on my TikTok channel, a bunch of you, if you could give some ideas for videos that I will be making in the next few weeks, months, well just the next videos I want to be making. One of the top comments that was put on there was how to attend a LARP alone. What some of you may already know is that the first ever LARP I attended, Okay, so I don't know where I am, sorry, you won't be able to see anything. I guess it would be quite good character development to actually be walking here, and I mean, it's quite funnish. I mean, as far as sun goes, yeah, it's quite fun to not know quite what's going on. I think you can see a toad here. Sorry to bother you, Mr. Toad. True camping. Anyone who watching this video is probably going to think I'm an idiot. I went alone and the LARP went well. But so much stuff went wrong. So I'm going to be talking with you about the kind of things you should be looking at, what things you should be trying to do to prepare for it. Basically, it's going to cover all the main 4 topics of cheap, easy, low time and safety. All of the topics there. So let's get into the video. Display. So anyway, those of you in the LARP nerd community will probably have heard of a Canadian LARP called Bertelli. Bertelli is North America's largest LARP, and I'm going to be attending it in 2025 with the Voyage North, which is like a kind of package company that helps you go there. So I'm going to be using that as a reference for what you should be doing for LARPs outside your country, and I'm also going to be using my first event that I went to as another reference, so like you can see 2 things. So starting off, I have only ever been to one LARP where I wasn't alone. I'd say 1.5, because one I kind of went with someone who was a player event. I kind of went with some people, so I kind of count that, but I also kind of don't, because I kind of went from where I live to my hotel completely on my own. So starting off, there are loads of different categories of LARPs, and technically what I'm saying is not correct. There will be so many variants of things that are kind of in between levels and things like that, but here's the base core breakdown of what types of LARP you can go into in terms of going on your own. You've got your small LARP, which would be like your Fools and Heroes LARPs, things where you're generally going to be seeing people in your community in your relative area. You're not going to see many people coming outside the city, or at least not from cities that aren't neighbouring cities to that LARP. And those LARPs generally tend to run quite regularly, like maybe once a week, once a month. And something around that point of time. And you tend to go on all throughout the year. And you've also got your festival LARPs, things like Empire LARP or Lorient Trust. Things where you generally are going to be spending a short period of time actually staying there, as you would like a festival. They aren't as frequent, but they are generally quite a bit bigger than your smaller LARPs. Then you've got your LARP outside my country. It would be a broad festival LARP. However, because I don't live in North America and I live in England, Bertelli is that to me. So that one's kind of subjective. To be honest, they're all kind of subjective, but in this case, I'm just using those 3 so I can explain all the others through those 3 bases. And lastly, I want to break down this whole thing into 4 major topics. 1, how you're going to get there. 2, how you're going to stay there. 3, how you're going to get back. And 4, what you're going to do if any part of this goes wrong. Because it always does. Put it up there now, and you cannot see me because I am also back. I see absolutely nothing here. I mean, at this point, me hiking to Empire for that last bit is pretty much just tradition. I mean, I don't even know why I book taxis anymore. You know, if I'm gonna have to walk, let's just say I've been to 4 events at Empire and 1 player event, and I've only had it not happen at 2 of them. The player event, I accidentally missed my train, went the wrong way, and then I had to, yeah, okay, never mind. I've had something happen on all of them but 1. Oh wait, no, when I went with my friends. Okay, let's just scrap that. Something has happened on every single LARP event I've gone to. Whether it's the taxis were booked up because there was some motor rally thing going on in Milton Keynes, or I just kind of straight up missed the train because I sat in the wrong part and just thought, oh, this is the same time, the train's here, and I got the wrong way. We don't talk about that. Buses can get delayed, planes can get cancelled, trains go on strikes, and for some reason, random roadworks appear out of nowhere despite multiple checks of those roads. Twice. Anyway, getting there, the best way to get there on your own is public transport. Here are the main points. Public transport is generally a lot cheaper than any other mode of transport. 2, I don't want to have to drive. I don't want to have to get there and back. And when you go to a LARP event, you're going to be tired. If you don't have someone else there with you, if you for some reason feel like you can't drive, you still have to drive. And there's no one else there to help you. So after you're packing up the tent alone with all your stuff and all that stuff, there's no one else there to help you. You just want to get home. Wait, did I say 2? Third point, public transport has external reliability in the person getting you there. If you get some like kind of refundable ticket, then if something goes wrong, say the bus crashes or something like that, then they will have to get you there no matter what. If your car breaks down, you're on your own. When actually going there, it's a good idea to bring certain things as well. I found from my hiking trips, I need a map and a compass. It's a good idea to know what kind of things are nearby. For example, there's actually a go outdoors in Milton Keynes, which is about, I think, 30 minutes away. That was really helpful in case you've forgotten something that you need for your tent. Say a mallet or some pegs or something's broken or something along that line. Just anything. It's really helpful to have stuff you need nearby and to know where you need to go in case you do need help. It's also a good idea to bring a fully charged phone in case you need to call someone, say a taxi or your parent because you accidentally took the wrong train. It's probably a good idea to bring a power bank and a first aid kit. Put those things at the top of whatever your case is that you're using. I personally recommend if you're going on your own to use this kind of bag, hiking bag, because that way just put stuff in. Plus, perfect shape for public transport, you can throw it right in the back. And if you need to go hiking, it's so easy to use. Unless you're going abroad through like an airplane or something, in which case a suitcase is really a good idea because that means you can get the most of your space. And if you are using a suitcase, I'd recommend getting a suitcase that has those kind of straps you can put on your back or something that you can put your suitcase kind of in. It's like a kind of bag carrier thing. I'll show a picture of it here because I know they exist. So make sure you have the things you'll need to enter ready. For example, your Empire ticket, or at least have your player ID memorized or written somewhere so you can find your player pack. Next topic, how to stay there. Well, I mean, stay there for a little bit, obviously, because like, honestly, if you're staying there for too long, it's kind of just basically living there, and then like, you're not living there, you're just kind of temporarily setting up like a kind of pitch, obviously, and you're just like, it's more like how to camp there, or like how to put up a. So for this, you'll most likely need a tent. You're going to be looking at one of 2 major kinds of tents for this. There are so many different types, but in the basic broad terms, you're going to be looking at either a festival tent for the out-of-character area or canvas bell tent for the in-character areas of LARPs. One key point I want to make out is that if you're going to an international LARP, it's probably a good idea to try and find a way to have that sorted for you. I'm going by the Voyage North to Bertelli, so they'll have my tent sorted, they'll have a bed, instead of cot. I mean, as a British person, that sounds really weird, but apparently it's not the same thing as the thing you put a baby in. So, I mean, if it is, I barely fit on my bed as it is, and that's a normal bed. I'm not going to fit in a cot. But also they've got like campfire, they've got a lot of stuff sorted. The Voyage North is a good idea if you want to go abroad, because they'll have so much for you sorted that you don't have to panic or worry about the stuff that you need to bring. So here are the pros and cons of going in character versus out of character. In character tents can be a bit heavy. They're really good for keeping you warm and fairly good at keeping you waterproof and dry and stuff like that. There's plenty of space in them, so generally speaking, but they are very bulky, they are very heavy, and they're not the easiest to store and dry. They require a lot of maintenance, and they're not the easiest to take on public transport or on your own. If you are on your own, I'd highly recommend the other option, which is an out-of-character tent. An out-of-character festival tent can be pitched in about 15 minutes. They are considerably cheaper. Like, it costs about £50 to rent a canvas bell tent for a single event, which, don't get me wrong, isn't that bad. But when you compare it to the maybe £20 or £30 for you spending on a tent that you keep, that's just so much cheaper. Plus, it's super light. I just strap onto the back of my bag. Like, look at this picture. That's my tent. I can just strap it on the bag. I can put it in my bag. I can just walk around. It's lighter than my armour. Well, everything's lighter than my armour. It's light. It's not lighter than my shield. It's light. But obviously the cons of that is it's a little bit colder. You can mitigate that though by getting like better blankets and stuff like that, or sleeping bags, and putting yourself a bit off the ground by using a mat. I'd recommend the foil ones that have like kind of foil bedding, or one of those self-inflating mats, because they're both around about the same price. I think self-inflating mats go a tiny bit more in price, but a self-inflating mat's so much better. Don't get a inflatable mat because there's so much that can go wrong with one of those. So much. Unless you're going with other people, I wouldn't recommend it. They're just not worth the effort. If you're staying at an event, which is only really relevant for the festival events and the abroad festival events, you might want to know a few people there beforehand. Just a few, some people that you'll be able to fraternise with, just enough people that if anything goes wrong, you can go and talk to at least one of those people. You want to know at least, I'd say, 3 people before you go to the event. That way, in case one bad thing happens with that one person you talk to, you've got 2 other people that you can talk to. I'd recommend you go and look at the safety video that I've put somewhere. I don't know how YouTube. It's probably up here or up there. Or just it'll be somewhere. If it's not, I'll put it in the description. But yeah, go and check out that safety video. It will help you a lot, especially if you're going alone. It's important to think about what you're going to be doing in terms of safety and preparation well in advance. If it's your absolute first ever LARP in that area, check the area, just a general bit. You don't have to actually go there, but just maybe go on Google Maps and quickly search the area's name, look around the area. Another point you want to consider if you're staying there is food. Don't go and check my video for food, because that is an awful video. You do not want to see it. If you want to see it, go and see it, fair enough, but don't, because it's not going to give you that much information. I probably will make another video on it later, because that one was just awful. If you're going on your own though, it's better to rely on other people for things like that. And by that I mean Mhorrish. Mhorrish Goodfood is a place that sells food at Empire. And also, they do it at Curious Pastimes, and they have a meal ticket, which is very convenient, which basically you just pay beforehand and you get one of these things. It's like a laminate sheet that's got all these numbers, and you punch the holes, and then you get the food for the holes that are punched. So I think it's like a burger and chips that you can get, or like it'll have a meal. There's a few things, there's a few specifications, but I'm fairly sure you'll be able to find that out just by asking around, or asking them on the website or their Facebook page. In case you have any queries, just go there. Alternatively, you can just go around food vendors. There's a bunch of places you can do. This can get a bit expensive, so if you are going alone and you don't want to buy that food, prepare the food beforehand and warm it up there, because that's just, it's going to save you so much time. The effort you're going to be putting into it to what you're going to get out of it by making it right there and then isn't going to be that much worth it. So just prepare something that you can warm up. It's not too much effort in that case. You've got your stuff there. If something goes wrong, you can still eat it cold, it just won't be warm, and you've still got food. So there's not so much pressure on you to do something, there's not so much reliance. So before you go, practice putting up your tent beforehand. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people who don't know how to put up a tent, and they've got a new tent, or they've got their dad's old tent, and they just spend the next hour. Just want to make a point, it's not just putting up the tent as well, it's taking it down. What I will say though is the last topic, which was to mitigate the, I don't know. Maybe yourself went wrong. What you do if something goes wrong. I was on the right lines. Things like booking your flight so you arrive early. Maybe getting a Airbnb there as well, so you can get there a few days early. That's what I plan on doing with Beakerline. I'm going to get there a few days early. I've talked to a few friends who I've made through their Discord server on the Voyage North to be meeting up with them a few days before, so that way I can get to know them a bit better. Plus, that way I've got some people that I can talk to at the event. I mean, there's not much they can do, but I've got someone there. But also, in case, say, the plane's delayed or there's an issue with scheduling, I can deal with maybe missing 2 days on my Airbnb or something like that, in case there is something wrong. That's so much easier to deal with than it is to deal with, say, or missing the bus that takes you there, which results in you not being able to get there at all because you decided you're going to get there on time. Always arrive to places early. And lastly, I'd say the absolute most important part about going on a LARP on your own: have fun. I had some of the best experiences in my LARP, but none of them have yet to compare to the first one I ever attended. It was immense. I felt so welcome. I can't describe. There was just so much going on and I could not compute it. And even to this day, after going several times, they have all been amazing. That first event was definitely defining for me. It definitely made sure that I kept going. And that's all that really matters. Having fun. Look after yourself. Don't do anything stupid. I'm also going to be adding a section which I'm calling Not a Sponsor, which is where I don't get paid for something and I'm technically not a sponsor for something. However, what I do is I kind of advertise for someone else's business, so that way you can all get to know about this new important thing, which is often something to do with the LARP community, or it might just be someone artistic skills that I particularly like that week or something like that. Just something new each time, so you can see a bunch of different amazing artists and creators and just so many different trades and crafts that I want people to know about. So, and today's one is AgentBSmith photography. Now, those of you who are from Empire LARP will know AgentBSmith's amazing photos, and if you don't know, these photos were taken by him. These photos. Look at that. Look how amazing these photos are. If you go to an Empire LARP event and you get your photo taken by him, trust me, buy the photo. He's amazing. Plus, I don't understand how I've never seen him taking photos of me, because there were photos where there were clearly no other people there, and he obviously was stood right in front of me. So he was blending into the background well. But he blends into the background really well. I mean, I have actually met him in person, but never have I ever seen his camera. I'm looking to get those photos framed and put up on the wall here so you can all see them. But anyway, they're amazing photos. Go and look at his page. Look him up on Facebook. I'll put a link to his Facebook. He's also a streamer on Twitch, so I'll link that as well down in the description. So yeah, go and check him out. If you really like this video, like and subscribe if that's what you want to do. You know, there's no pressure. Leave any comments on anything you have any questions about, or anything you want to know more about. Any suggestions, just anything, just put it in the comments and then I'll read it. If you've liked this video and you want to see more similar kind of things, then I'd recommend you to the Hefty Yeti podcast, which I'll put down in the description, which is about Empire, but it's also about, there's loads of topics they go into in depth of things. There's a lot of things in that sort of on the how-tos and stuff and things like that, or if you want to learn more about LARP as a general, I'd recommend you to our Adventuring Party channel, which I'm going to link down in the description. I'd also recommend to you the To Have To Roll channel, which make a series of insightful podcasts of so many topics across LARP and TTRPGs. They are amazing. Just go and check them out. So if you're just looking for some more light-hearted videos on like kind of personal experiences and stories and things like that of their own experiences, I'd recommend you to the It's Mikki channel and to the E.S.Tennison channel, which I'll also put down in the description. So yeah. Anyway, see you later. Hope you're all doing okay. Yeah.